player. But to get a guy like this on deadline day, there were 4 or 5 teams interested in him. Already the number 1 team in the East got better.
Each year, we observe NBA players returning to Europe feeling defeated after realizing they weren't cut out for the league or couldn't adjust. Players like Milos Kaddoic or the recent example of Sasha Fenev, who some deemed the Kings' secret weapon, paralleled in statistics to Klay Thompson, only averaged 5 points per game and requested to be traded or released by Sacramento. No offense, it may not have been fair to him, and European fans are understandably upset. However, this was not the scenario for Nikola Mirotic. He was at the peak of his career with a lucrative deal available, but surprisingly opted for a lesser payment in Europe. In fact, the NBA consults GMs every year to identify the top international player outside of the league, and since Mirotic's departure, he has consistently ranked number 1 except when Victor Wembanyama was mentioned, and even at 30 years old, he remained second. Other players in Europe would eagerly desire to be sought after by the NBA. So, what caused his sudden disappearance? Well, the reasons Nikola gave upon leaving turned out to be false. He revealed the real story years later when he finally felt comfortable discussing it. Underdog fantasy allows me to enhance even the most mundane regular season games tenfold. Mirotic initially took an interest in basketball after being born in Montenegro, where soccer dominates, but his parents recognized his height and felt he should pursue basketball. He made the transition at 13 and signed a professional contract a year later, showcasing his incredible talent as he picked up a basketball and became a pro within just a year. Mirotic joined Real Madrid's first team in 2011, earning the Rising Star Award, which is comparable to the Rookie of the Year honor. The Houston Rockets then drafted him, but subsequently traded his rights to the Chicago Bulls. Nico made his NBA debut 3 years later, seamlessly fitting into the modern NBA, where he scored 27 points in a victory over the Grizzlies, going 6 for 6 from three-point range at 6'10". He secured second place for Rookie of the Year in 2015 behind Andrew Wiggins, receiving a significant number of first-place votes, a detail often overlooked. As key players like Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, and Pau Gasol departed the team over the next few years, it became Nico's moment to assume a larger role until a teammate assaulted him. The starting position then became a contest between Nico and a young Bobby Portis. Reports indicate a confrontation occurred during a preseason practice, where Mirotic lunged at Bobby twice. Portis responded by swinging and made contact, resulting in a concussion and multiple facial fractures for Nico from a single punch. He was hospitalized and missed the initial 23 games of the season, which is nearly a third of the year due to one incident, an event that was significantly worse than the Draymond Green and Jordan Poole situation. The Bulls imposed an 8-game suspension on Bobby, who later expressed regret for his actions. "I regret my actions and wish to issue a public apology to Nico," but Mirotic wasn't on board. He informed Chicago that they could choose between him or Bobby Portis, but not both. Coincidentally, on the very same day he made this demand, the Bulls picked up Bobby's contract. This situation mirrors the Draymond-Jordan Poole conflict: keep the player who threw the punch while leaving the other behind. However, Nico was excelling, averaging about 16 points with a 43% shooting rate from 3, so the Pelicans were thrilled to have him in New Orleans. After 2 years, the Bucks sought Mirotic to strengthen their title chances. Nico's performance caught the attention of ESPN, who deemed the trade an absolute grand slam for the Bucks, not because he was a superstar, but for acquiring a talent like him on deadline day, especially with 4 or 5 teams vying for him. The top team in the East improved. Although he faced injuries and his stats declined, he entered free agency sought after by top NBA teams. While vacationing in Greece, his agent informed him that the Utah Jazz wanted him to join Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert for a 3-year, $50 million deal, comparable to players like Klay Thompson, Dennis Schroeder, or Goran Dragic at the time. Instead, Mirotic announced his exit from the NBA during his prime. He recalls being at the airport in Greece, literally at the gate, questioning why he wasn't with his family. "Nico, don't do it. If you go to Utah, you'll regret it," he thought. He then left the airport and returned to the hotel. At 27 years old, he joined Barcelona as Europe's top-paid player, earning less annually than the Jazz offer. When asked why, he remarked that the NBA was constraining him. His role remained static as a player who took open shots and executed pick-and-pop plays. He was expected to score 10 points and grab a few rebounds, which left him feeling as if time was slipping by without him playing his best basketball. Thus, he decided to return and pursue something grander in Europe. While this might hold some truth, he later clarified the real reason. During his time at Barcelona, Nico excelled, averaging 19 points and 7 rebounds in his first year and seemed destined to win MVP in his second year, though he later disappointed in the playoffs. This led to people labeling him as overrated, a reputation he acquired since his first stint at Real Madrid. Barcelona failed to secure any EuroLeague titles, and being the highest-paid player came with high expectations. A significant low point occurred in a EuroLeague match against rivals, his former team Real Madrid, where Nico scored only 3 points. The reason? An unassuming 18-year-old named Eli and G managed to neutralize him, disrupting Nico's rhythm and preventing him from scoring throughout the game. Ironically, while Nico earned €5 million, Ng was on a minimal contract, which in Spain could drop to as little as €30,000 annually. Ultimately, in 2022, at the age of 30, Nico achieved the league MVP award, and around this moment, he felt ready to share the genuine story behind his departure from the NBA. He met with a well-known European journalist to discuss his reasons for leaving. Nico and his wife welcomed their first son in 2013, and he realized he was missing important moments in his child's life. The NBA's 82-game schedule entails extensive travel across the United States for over half the year, and while many athletes sacrifice irreplaceable family moments, Meredith chose differently. During my time in the NBA, I felt distant from my family and lost my passion for basketball. I yearned to spend more time with my kids and engage in church activities. It led to a personal crisis for me, where my family became my top priority. I had many discussions with my wife. It was my first time prioritizing my family over my career. Throughout his life, Nico has been deeply family-oriented and religious, even receiving recognition from his church for his faith. He participated in prayer walks and protests during the off-season. Basketball wasn't his only focus, and for years, many struggled to comprehend why someone would reject an NBA opportunity that countless dream of. He felt the need to explain this decision to the world because had he shared it when he left, many might have judged him soft or criticized his choice, but after securing that MVP, what will they say now? Recently, Nico transitioned from Spain to Italy to join Milan, where he averaged around 15 points on 40% shooting from beyond the arc, won the championship, and earned the title of MVP in the Italian finals. He remains acknowledged as one of the top players outside the NBA and has no regrets about his choice. However, the best European player in the NBA is currently the best player globally, named Nikola Jokic. The Joker might secure his 4th MVP this year, but his team is facing difficulties. Although they have seen some victories lately, when they compete against the top teams in the NBA, the outcomes are not competitive. This is a look at how the Nuggets can assist Jokic before it's too late.